A church in Atlanta recently went viral this past week on New Year's Eve service, or what they call the watch night service. Basically, of course, you go to church around like 10, 10:30, maybe 11. You're there, you watch the clock roll over, whatever case. It's watch night service, basically. And watching the New Year's drop, bringing the new year in the house of God. This house in particular might as well brought out the bottles, the sparklers, the ones, might as well. That was all that was missing from a church in Atlanta, where I'll share a clip with you guys, of course. Looks like it was originally posted by the Shade Room, but I saw it from Charlemagne. Give me 1 second. Looks like this is the pastor of the church.
Look at him and tell him, walk it out.
Hey, now I'll be
All right. Now, if you're not of the black community, you might hear these songs like, okay, what's the significance of these songs? Both the songs that were played in these clips are, I would say, staple songs of the black culture. Of course, these are older songs. Even I think these songs that are playing in a particular were songs that were very popular when I was in high school. I would say have solidified. It's like folklore, old folklore songs. There's certain songs in the black community that's just like that will evoke such type of emotion that you saw in the clips there, basically. But in all seriousness, folks, I saw this and it kind of made me upset, man. And my stance on it is this. As always, with everything, of course, I take all things into consideration. I try to see both sides of, every story, whatever the case is. I try to see how one side could rationalize it as one, as deeming this acceptable, and I try to see the side of, the demographic of people that would look at this as and call it blasphemy. After further review, and after my own, just interpretation of how I, what I make of just this world and spirituality and whatever the case is, I am on the side that deems this blasphemous. It's like, it just reminded me, you guys remember the story of Moses? I don't know if you guys remember. And again, I'm not going to portray myself as this biggest, super Christian. I'm not. Honestly, to be completely honest, I don't actually subscribe to any specific religion. I did grow up Christian Methodist, in my childhood and in my early adult years. I personally don't subscribe to any religion, I guess traditional religion that you could say, but I am a firm believer in a holy power. I like to call that holy power God. So I do believe in a creator. Of course, I could maybe dive into that in another video as well, too. I'm sure I will. But that is my spiritual religious stance. I would say that I can resonate with the Christians, but I try to understand and make sense of the Muslim brothers as well, too, and people of that belief, things of that nature. So though I don't specifically subscribe to any one religion, I do 110% believe in a higher power. I want to just give that context as well. So basically what I'm trying to say, folks, is I would consider this, I'm leaning on the side of calling this blasphemous because it just, I see I saw this clip and it just reminded me of the story of Moses. That's what I was saying. Moses parts the Red Sea. He helps, free the slaves from Pharaoh, right? Went to Pharaoh. Pharaoh, let my people go. Let my people go. Frees the people, makes it through the Red Sea, splits the waters, splits the Red Sea. People make it safely across. They end up at Mount Sinai, the bottom of Mount Sinai, right? And Mount Sinai is the mountain that Moses climbs to go get the next word now. Now that he's freed the people, he's going up to God, standing on the top of the mountain to get the word. Of course, that's, hence where the 10 Commandments came from. And again, this could all be stories, whether you take this at face value. Maybe it's just a story, fable, whatever the case is. But in the Bible, of course, this is a prominent story, the story of Moses. And at that point, in that, once Moses goes up to the hill, he tells the people, all right, cool, I'll be back, right? He tells the people that he just slaved, a whole caravan of people. He's hey, I'll be back. I got us through the Red Sea. I'm going to go up real quick, get the word from God. I'm going to come back with a solid word, and this is how we'll govern ourselves moving forward. And whether, I guess, Moses took too long, whatever the case is, Moses climbs up to the mountain, Mount Sinai, gets the word from God, gets the 10 Commandments, comes back. And when Moses comes back, and Moses sets his feet back down at the base of Mount Sinai, he sees a scene similar to the one we just played in this clip. The people are worshiping the golden calf. The people are going back into their wretched ways. They're dancing, they're singing, they fornicating, they're doing so many wild idolatrous things. Of course, they idolizing the golden calf. They're making idols of themselves and this and that nature. And then the commandments just crumble. It's like basically I just see the same thing in this clip. It just looks like, I feel like when we hear church right now, people will rebuttal and say, "Oh man, see, you're projecting what your own beliefs are and what the church should be, man. The church is just, where 2 or 3 are gathered. That's the only criteria for a church, where 2 or 3 are gathered." I hear you, bro. Oh, people worship differently, man. Come as you are. I see people try to, solidify it by saying, "Oh, come as you are," and this, that, and the other, using scriptures that don't necessarily apply to this case. My perspective is that this is unacceptable, man, especially for us in the Black community. And I'm never gonna shy away from saying this, man. Though I am of African American descent, though I am in well versed in the Black community in terms of the cultural aspects, whatever the case is, I don't condone all the activities and the mindsets and the views of the Black culture. I do not. And this is one of the things that I just don't agree with. We make excuses for a lot of these things that are counterproductive to us as a collective. This is unacceptable, folks. I thought church was supposed to maintain a slither of sacredness, holiness, right? Be mindful for the trick of the devil, man. It's like, first of all, and that's if you believe in the devil, what are the cases, but it's just like, yo, there's a book, one of my favorite books by Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil. Check it out. It's a book by Napoleon Hill called Outwitting the Devil. The Satan is tricky. El Shaitan. El Diablo. Look how easy it is for him to infiltrate himself within the church, something that was supposed to be sacred. You go to church, you come with a humble heart, humble soul. You come in there, you leave all the extracurriculars, the stress from work, the stress from out there, you leave that outside. When you come to church to be one with the higher power, be one with yourself, is what I thought. But that don't seem to be the case with this one, man. People are making excuses. You letting Satan infiltrate places that are supposed to be sacred. All what's missing, they're just shy. Where's the hookah? Bring out the hookah and the strippers. Might as well. That's all you're missing. If we're going off that rationale, nah, man, let people worship how they want to worship. All right, light up the blunt. Pass the bottle. What else was missing, bro? I feel like if you wanted to vow for this, let's say, because again, I'm always going to try to play both sides, although I on this one, I firmly stand on the side of, I think this is just degeneracy at its finest. If you wanted to have such an event at a church, leave that for like a retreat. Maybe, okay, church goes on an annual retreat where they're, it's more so on games, they're chilling, they unwind a little bit. All right, save that for there. You feel me? Like, save that for there, if anything. If you want to say, okay, the church people have different ways to worship, I think there's a time and place for everything, man. So if you wanted to have like a special retreat where you guys go off and you partake in, whatever the case is, you could call it that, man. But I'm not trying to go through my whole entire week. I mean, of course, again, this was the New Year's Eve service. I'm sure, every single Sunday is not conducted in the same manner. But I'm just saying, man, it's just like anything that's associated with God is supposed to be as pure as possible, as pure as water, man. And this is just, I just see it as an entryway for manipulation. References of marijuana and alcoholic beverages is essentially the theme of the song that was played in the church. And yet they'll say, there's nothing wrong with that, bro. There's nothing wrong with that, bro. Look how easy it is for Satan to trick y'all out y'all spot. Make things acceptable, make things cool. As if he didn't already have everywhere else down pat. He got the church too. Satan in the church. And people eating it up. So blind, so easily manipulated. Of the infiltration, the tricks of the devil. You got to be ready to outwit. The devil is witty. You got to be willing to outwit the devil, man. He's going to slide things in there that's gonna come off as second nature to you. Guys are not putting up people are not putting up a strong enough defense into the tricks of the devil. That's the problem, in my personal opinion. It's spiritual warfare out here, folks. You don't see it? Do you believe in such a thing? It's spiritual warfare out here, folks. Things got to be different moving into this new year, folks. Everyone in the black community, man, we got to really put our foot down on some things, man. Like, we really got to start shunning the whack shit. As I've said before, things that are whack, let's deem them as whack and give them no attention. We have to do this. It's like, and I hate to play the race card, bro, but I'm going to play the race card in this situation. There's no other race group that I see conduct themselves in a manner that is counterproductive, that is as counterproductive as us in the black community. I said it. I don't care what nobody say. You not see, let's play the race card, and we can play the religion card as well too. You're not catching them getting this down like this at the mosque, bro. You're not going to see it. You're not going to see it, bro. There's not a mosque in the world. There's not a mosque in the world, I'm willing to bet, that would ever conduct themselves in such a manner. I'm speaking the truth, people. Stop me when I've told a lie. If we conducted ourselves in a manner that demanded respect, demanded prestige, or whatever the case is, consistently, collectively in our culture, I think the game, because we already, I mean, let's keep it a spade a spade. We already know the black culture runs the world. I mean, let me give us our props for a second as well too. Let me not just bash us black folks for a second. We do know, like, we are in charge of all the cool shit. Let's just keep it a buck. Like, let's just keep it a buck. I'm not gonna bash us completely, but damn, bro. Like, I just wish that there were some times that we could really just, like, minimize the degeneracy just a little bit so we could, like, really earn our keeping out here, man, because they're not taking us seriously, folks. And then they'll battle and say, oh, well, we shouldn't, as black people, we shouldn't care to win the hearts of other races or whatever the case is. You can't think like that, bro. It's a collective out here, bro. If they really want to, consider to, divvy us up into race or whatever the case is, and there's race wars and this, that, and the other, then we got to be on some militant. I think it's time for some Wakanda. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta just be a little bit more strategic. But let me not go on down that tangent right now. Basically, long short of the story, man, I call this blasphemy. The only thing that was missing from this church was the bottles, the strippers, the ones, some blunts in rotation. You can't chalk this up to come on all as a welcome, or come as you are, whatever the case is. I can't chalk that up for this one, bro. Leave all of that for the club. It's like, I thought churches were sacred, holy places where sometimes God will come in and they'll say, oh, well, God could have been here. I think that was Charlemagne's rebuttal. God could see me at the club. He could see me at the church, this, that, and the other. If it's like, if you can't, if this is in the church, where could you go now? Where do you go now to be in unison in a sacred place? Where do you go now if we rule it out the church? If I can't go to church to silence out all the noise from, the worldly, influences, whatever the case is, where can I go? Where can I go? What institutions are we leaving sacred? What are your thoughts on this church in Atlanta? Swag surfing and Millie rocking and shucking and jiving. Is it acceptable? Is it cool? Is it okay? Or is it on some Sodom and Gomorrah, Mount Sinai, worshiping the golden calf, like all this adulterous, just blasphemous? What's your stance on this, folks? I want to hear your thoughts, honestly. Leave them down in the comment section. Of course, this is a post that went pretty viral this past weekend. I will catch you on the next one.